speak after the Noble Baroness Morris, who spoke, I think, for many of us when she spoke of the challenge of EdTech and how our hopes that this would be a transformational technology have now changed emphatically, and we now have found our place in somewhere we really didn't intend to be. I would like to say a word about Amendment 183CA from Noble Baronet, my noble friend Baroness Penn, Earl Russell, Baroness Kidron and Baroness Cass. My noble friend Baroness Shepherd put it really well. Our children do need respite. A school is a wonderful place to be spared that kind of respite. And Lord Knight, I thought, put it well, that the impact on education is really, really harsh. But it's actually Amendment 177 that I want to primarily address. And for that reason, I see 183CA as a stepping stone to getting rid of mobile phones from the lives of under-16s altogether at some stage. And that's what I'd like to address my comments as. And in that, I do it as a former health minister, and I declare my interest as a trustee of the Royal Society of Public Health. My Lords, the neurobiological evidence of the harms of social media on children isn't ambiguous anymore. It's absolutely irrefutable, as it is, for instance, for tobacco. We can see the causes, we can see the correlations. To take one 3-year longitudinal study published 2 years ago, adolescents who habitually check social media show, and I quote, distinct neurodevelopmental trajectories in brain regions governing social reward and punishment, such as the amygdala, the ventral striatum, and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. In other words, my lords, their brains, in other words, the social media exploits the dopamine pathways involved in addiction, creating cycles that exploit the neurochemical pathways that determine their actions. My lords, I personally struggle with addiction. I find it extremely tough. Our children's plastic brains just aren't in a shape to be able to survive that struggle. My lords, this challenge isn't a teenage rebellion or some kind of moral panic. It's a systematic neurological manipulation by mega companies who know exactly what they're doing. This social media is a major driver of the mental health crisis that this country faces, and the consequences are contributing to the overwhelming of our NHS. In 24-25, NHS mental health services supported 800,012 under-18s, an increase of nearly 300,000 since the NHS long-term plan first started. I won't go into the figures in detail, but my lords, I assure this chamber, this isn't a question of snowflakery or wokery. It is a genuine public health emergency. And my lords, the problem is not going away. And I say this with some delicacy. I'm one of the few peers in this House that does have children of this age. Mine are 18, 15, 13 at 10. And in answer to my noble friend, the Baroness Shepherd, they are all at different schools, which is a problem for logistics on my behalf. None of those schools are winning in this battle. In fact, I'd say to the noble Baroness Morris, each year I have seen this problem get worse. You can feel the algorithms getting more effective, having more of a grip of your children's life. Each year, the children spend more hours on the phone. The communal social pressure each year is more intense. The mental health and the self-harming amongst friends in schools gets worse. There's more and more disgusting pornographic filth available to young children. Statistically, there are more predators activated by the addictive escalator of increasingly violent porn seeking meetups with my children. There are more frustrated parents each year watching their children's attention and well-being deteriorate. And the kids simply are not mature enough to handle these toxic tools and this content. And my lords, this is before AI even gets to work on their brains. With superpowered social algorithms that screw with their heads, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Now, my lords, the tech companies are showing absolutely no restraint on this. Recent leaks from Meta about sexualized child AI bots show they're absolutely not holding back. And that's why we have to act. My Lords, this intolerable situation persists because the industry has deliberately played the deny, consult, delay, distract, repeat formula, and governments have failed to stand up. Their aggressive lobbying holds child welfare hostage to corporate profits. It undermines Britain's economic resilience, and it corrupts the democratic accountability of this Parliament. My Lords, my noble friend Lord Nash is absolutely right about this bill. This bill is meant to protect children, and yet it has a massive gaping hole by failing to address the #1 challenge to our children's well-being. And this amendment is an unmissable opportunity to close that gap. My Lords, I'm a red-blooded capitalist and a dyed-in-the-wool Tory, so I instinctively oppose intrusive red tapes. But, my Lords, when the harm is this great and the resistance by industry to good practice is so entrenched and the resources available to the technologists are so huge, I really don't think we have a choice. And that's why I am a strong supporter of 177. My Lords, I would remind this House that in answer to the Noble Lord Lord Russell and to the Noble Lord Lord Knight, other countries are acting. Australia has banned social media. China limits children to 1 hour a day. The EU mandates children's rights impact assessments. France is making efforts to ban social media. British children deserve better than to be guinea pigs in Silicon Valley's profit experiment. So let me be clear, my Lords. I am a big supporter of big tech and its transformational potential. As a health advocate, I see the future of healthcare depend on AI, big data and genomics. I applaud the work of companies like Alphabet in these fields. But these same companies do have a blind spot, and we need to recognise that. The algorithms that detect cancer cells are being used to exploit children's neurological vulnerabilities, and that is a profound ethical failure they seem unable to cope with. Now, my Lords, Amendment 177 doesn't seek to hobble innovation. It ensures that innovation serves humanity and doesn't exploit the most vulnerable. The tech industry's greatest achievements lie ahead, but they cannot be realised when their entire business model depends on harming children. This under-16 social media ban amendment provides a framework to preserve innovation whilst addressing this key critical blind spot. My Lords, to me, it seems like an inevitability that our government will one day introduce such a restriction, and I would lay good money that that's before the end of this Parliament. I urge the noble Baroness, the Minister, to get on the right side of history, to put something on the table that can take this idea forward, and to put Britain's children first while maintaining our position as a global technology leader.
Make a small intervention at this point. There seems